Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. I'm Handington and today we're continuing Cookie Wars, and this time we're just talking about all the different troops that we have. So this is the Crystal Putty Cave. As you remember seeing before, there were tiny crystal putties. There's also big crystal putties, which I will discuss later. They are rather weak. However, the Crystal Putty Cave is something that spawns out a whole bunch of the pets. Whereas if you send out the big crystal putties, it sends out 2 of them at a time. Whereas this, if you set it all the way in the back, closer to your base, it's able to send out like maybe 5 or 6 of them, but one at a time, and slowly. And it will slowly expire. Once you have it out on the field, it'll slowly decrease in its ability to stay out. So you'll only have it for a short time. And if the enemy attacks it, then it'll be an even shorter time. But this is usable. It's not very good because it sends out a very weak enemy anyway, even if this is strong. Each of the things that it produces are just... it's just not worth it, because it's just so weak, and it also defeats the purpose of having all the different pets. And so many of the different pets die so easily or are more expensive that Biscuit Bunny is really the only one that's worth doing anything with, because it's so cheap that you're able to just send it out immediately. I mean, even Ginger Brave, the weakest unit, still costs 2, which is not as effective. So Biscuit Bunny all the way, definitely very useful. This is not very worth it. A haven for crystal putties. They're so flexible, they can fit and relax just about anywhere. So they kind of escape it like a clown car, which is funny. And here's the pancake cookie. I love pancakes, they're one of my favorite foods. And pancake cookie is adorable and very, very strong in this. It can fly anywhere on the battlefield to perform a melee attack. It's actually not very strong, but it's more of a utility sort of thing. For example, like if you have Peach Cookie, and you wait to save up your mana meter a little bit longer, you send out Pancake Cookie, then you send out Peach Cookie to take away somebody who may be sent to kill Pancake Cookie, then they'd be focused on hitting Peach Cookie, and Pancake Cookie would be able to do his thing. You'll want to, if you're going to use Pancake Cookie, you'll want to add in a very, very strong pet and very strong donuts to get in as much damage as possible. Pancake Cookie is also good in story mode because you zoom it out, you throw down, you wait for the opponent to send out the first wave of enemies, and you send down Pancake Cookies and he's able to get a whole bunch of hits out very quickly, even quicker than a siege unit for immediate weaker damage. So you just keep defending yourself. He's very good if you want to be able to win a match quickly. You may have to sacrifice some of your base health, and you have to, like, worry about that, because if you're focusing on sending him out, and you send out a bunch of other units and troops, then to try to distract the wall of other Jelly Walkers, then you may not be strong enough, but you just focus on protecting Pancake Cookie and other stuff like that, and you can end up being able to win. It's difficult to explain, and certainly one of the better cookies of the game. It feels always very annoying in PvP when you lose to one, but it's a fair thing, because, like, you hit it once or twice with a stronger attack, or you send out something to deal with it, and it's not a siege unit, so it won't just focus on the base. If it starts attacking the base first, then it'll attack the base, but if you're able to send out a cookie before it attacks, then it's possible Pancake Cookie could attack that cookie instead of the base. So, if you are able to preempt a Pancake Cookie attack, then you can neutralize the damage. Though usually Pancake Cookie is able to get in, like, one hit, always. So, very good as a last resort. He's a much fairer use for the, oh, I'm almost about to die, let me use a spell and use Pancake Cookie. Like, let me wait to charge up my mana without sending up a whole bunch of troops, I'll take a bit of damage somewhere else. Then you send out Pancake Cookie and a spell to deal the last little bit of damage if they're weak, and then bam, you're able to win. A cute and innocent Pancake Cookie was born brown to perfection. This cookie's... whoa, there's a typo there, there's a space. Favorite food in the world is Acorn jellies. Acorn jellies are the yummiest. And here's the Devil Cookie, which is actually soda-flavored, not devil-flavored. This one is one of the most expensive cookies in the game, even more expensive than some legendary cookies. When you send it out, it attacks nearby enemies with its trident, like a normal. It actually does fairly weak basic damage. Its special damage attack is actually on the weaker side, but what it does is it becomes a super devil and inflicts powerful area damage. What it'll do is it'll attack the ground with a weak attack multiple times in a row and just burn everything. Basically an insta-kill. Even though its attack is weak, that's like, sort of like Sand's attack in... Not Sand Attack from Pokemon, but Sand's attack in Undertale, where it's like, it does 1 damage, but there's no invincibility frame, so it just goes... That's what he does. It's not that fast, but you send him out, and then he'll burn everybody, and it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? So you send him down, he destroys a whole pile of things, and then he's rather weak the rest of the time, though he has good health, so what you can do is just wait around and hope that he lives, and then he's able to become a devil again later, and then burn even more things. So, he's a very useful one. I don't like using him too much, because he's a bit too much of a risk-reward character for me. Usually I like more... Usually I don't take the high-risk, high-reward characters as often. I like the ones that are a bit more sure and steady, which, you know, when I lose to somebody who is using a much better strategy or does a higher risk and is able to set things up to be legitimately awesome, then it's a fair loss. Like, if you're able to set things up in the way that you would want to be able to do the most damage, then it's fair. I just really hate the one that hits everything all at once immediately. He's actually almost better than one of them, or a couple of the legendary cookies, if you're careful. Anyway, Devil Cookie is mysterious in many ways. This cookie might look like a hot sauce, hot and spicy, but it tastes like fizzy cola. According to a trustworthy source, they're made with bat extract and a few drops of the carbonated beverage. Time for some fun, hee hee hee. Onion Cookie. Throws purple onions at a faraway enemy, basically a good ranged attack, and slows down enemy hit speeds at given intervals. I'd say she's not really worth it. She lowers the hit speed. She's very weak, she does barely any damage. She is a support type, but her support isn't really all that helpful. Again, like something like Super Devil, you send out him, and then she just dies almost instantly, and she's more expensive than the Biscuit Bunny, so it's not like she's... Ooh, excuse me. It's not like she's very good fodder, either. The hit speed isn't... It's a somewhat important stat, but depending on the cookie, it could be useless. So I would not recommend using her. Your eyes will start to water if you get too close to this onion-based cookie. Yeah, she cries because she's a little kid that's scared of the world, but also she's an onion cookie. I love the cookie's designs. So many of them are so clever. Perhaps one day she'll realize why candles suddenly go out, and clocks begin ticking backward wherever she goes. I'm scared. Wah! Onion Cookie's pet, on the other hand, is fantastic. Another fantastic cookie, a much better support unit, and someone definitely worth it. It's Cotton Candy Cookie, who I should call Sweetheart Cookie, because she's based off of those Valentine's sweethearts. And Cloud Cookie, there's no cloud flavor. Cloud Cookie should be Cotton Candy Cookie. But, anyway, words aside, she is fantastic. She attacks by throwing letters very far away. She is super, super, super weak. Weak health, weak basic damage. She's not good in that regard. What she is amazing at is that she sends hearts to lure enemies for a short period of time. What that means is, she has the ability to possess one of your opponent's enemies. So, if you want to possess, say, Powder Sugar Cookie, and make it run the other direction, even though it can't attack the other opponents, then all of the opponents will then attack that cookie instead, and then be able to help knock it out. She is able, when you send her out, to do all sorts of things, in the sense that she can possess any of the cookies to turn them against you. It can't be like a turret, like the ice cream cannon, or one of those other inanimate objects, but she's able to turn anything against you, basically. So, you send her out, you hope that you send her out right next to a strong enemy and not a weak enemy, and then she's just able to use that power. Now, something like Super Devil, who would use the power pretty much before she would have a chance to use the spell, that would make him much more difficult to use. So, possessing the devil might not be as good. That's a fun phrase to say. But possessing, like, a legendary cookie who is much stronger, for example, Fire Spirit Cookie, which does a slightly more... Fire Spirit Cookie is similar to the Super Devil Cookie, except his attacks are more frequent, but he takes a bit more time in between. So you'd have a chance to be able to possess him with Cotton Candy Cookie. However, if you do something like send out a Biscuit Bunny right in front of her, and she possesses a bunny, then she'll only be able to possess one bunny, and that bunny will be so weak, and then the opponent will be like, oh no, I wasted a whole pile of use on something that'll end up dying immediately. So, or almost immediately. Which is fantastic, because even then, if she possesses one of the two other Biscuit Bunnies, it's still 1 versus 2, and, like, you'd still have a Biscuit Bunny left over if they fought. So, it's a risk-reward thing that is certainly worth the payoff to me. I think she's a fantastic cookie, you just gotta use her right. And she can be very, very useful in the right circumstances. Also, if you put her down near an enemy's base, like if you destroy one of the turrets and they send out a siege unit accidentally close to them, and you use her on a siege unit, then the siege unit will turn right around and attack their base immediately, which is fantastic and wonderful. It's wonderful fun. So, she's a very fun cookie to use. And then her story, she's a cookie made of light and sugary cotton candy, with a heart so sweet, no wonder she, very long space, is always in love. Now, she is basically in love with everybody, by the way. That's her thing. She writes love letters to everybody. Everybody loves her love letters. That's just what she does. So, she's a very, very sweet cookie. We have Peach Cookie again, and Gumball. A fan favorite cookie. Everyone loves during shipping of Gumball and Peppermint Cookie. This is a very interesting one. It does a whole lot of damage at a very far distance. Gumball Cookie is not very good up close. He's not very good for damage normally, but what he is fantastic at is that you send him out far or close to your base. He's similar to that other cannon that you saw before, except he's a cookie, so he gets to have a pet and equip donuts. So he's not an inanimate thing. So he attacks from a super, super, super far distance. You can keep him almost near your base, and he's able to defeat all sorts of things very far away. So if you have a whole bunch of units all up front and he's behind, then nobody will be able to hit him, and then you'll be able to attack him right away. Or you do something like send out Pancake Cookie, who will immediately go towards him and start beating him up, then you're able to not have to worry about him being a very far away cannon. Though he only really works well far away, because if you send him out close, or you're able to beat him up close, then he can't really do too much. But unlike the other cannon, he does not degrade over time, so he is useful in that regard. So, definitely very good cookie to have around. Colorful gumballs were evenly mixed into the batter, and ta-da! Gumball Cookie was born. He's on a mission to transform the boring world into a fun and colorful playground. Let me color you. Ha-ha! He likes graffiti art and stuff like that. Ah, and here's a one that I really like, the Siege Cookie, Cherry Blossom Cookie. She opens up her umbrella and flies over to the enemy structure and attacks him with teapots. What makes her different from the, what do you call him, the golem, is that she has much less health and can be stopped by the other flying units. But she is able to fly over stuff, which makes her not be hit by a whole bunch of ground units, whereas the Sugar Golem deals much more damage than she does. It's much slower and takes damage from pretty much everything. She'll take damage primarily from flying enemies and be stopped by flying enemies, but she's basically able to fly over stuff and deal little bits of damage at the, or moderate amounts of damage at the base that she's able to head over to. She is one of those other risk-reward things. It really just depends on who you really feel like doing. In PvP mode, she can be very useful because she can fly over the pit, whereas the golem is not as useful there. But in story mode, the golem can be a bit more useful depending on where you put him down, whereas she can be a bit less useful if they deploy a whole bunch of aerial units. So, She is super awesome. She's basically like a flying, she's a very balanced flying siege unit. So, a good overall siege unit, not too cheap. In fact, no, she's not cheap. She's balanced, unlike Kamiho Cookie, which immediately runs straight towards the base, like, can run past other enemies, too, and then just immediately deals tons of damage over and over. Heavy damage, or moderate damage, over and over fast. She's like, Kamiho Cookie is like Cherry Blossom Cookie, except more attacks, more health, and is basically stronger. And it is very annoying. I do not have Kamiho Cookie. I don't know how Kamiho Cookie is balanced, but whenever Kamiho Cookie is used, usually the opponent is, in, like, the story modes, are able to send out a ton of them. I'm trying to do the Kamiho Cookie, Starlight quest, and I can't because the opponent is able to send out, like, 10 of them at once, and just destroy your whole base. So that's my experience with Kamiho Cookie. Not as bad in PvP mode, except the Fire Kamiho Cookie, which is able to attack from a far distance from the base, and deals even more damage once they send it out, like you lose. Pink cherry blossoms were collected, then made into essence to create this lovely cookie. She is most adorable when she offers you delicious sandwiches and tea. What kind of tea would you like? She's very sweet. She's a picnic cookie. Yada yada, these two we've seen already. Orange Cookie, another beloved cookie and one of the members of the Citrus Squad. She throws, tennis balls from far away. She's a ranged attack, and she's able to hit up to 3 enemies at a time. So she's sort of like one that can attack multiple things in a small area, except she attacks always 3 units at a time with her tennis balls. I don't... Whenever people use her, like, I'm able to kill her very easily. I don't really use her too much. I think she's actually rather weak. Doesn't have too much of a skill. Even her basic damage and special damage are the same. She's able to hit 3 at one point, so I would not recommend using her. There is no cookie as energetic as Orange Cookie. Watch out for her signature shot, the Smile Smash. Zesty Smash! Cheerleader Cookie and Ice Queen Cookie. Yes! She attacks nearby enemies, basic attack, and performs an epic jump and twirls into multiple enemies. What they also don't mention is that Skating Queen Cookie is super, super fast. Like, you'll send her out and she's able to just whoosh right around, and she's able to attack fast. She's a very fast cookie. She does decent damage, too. Overall, she's a very solid cookie to use. And her first attack bonus is that she's able to attack a whole crowd of enemies at once, with a whole pile of different damage. No, why did I say a whole pile of different damage? She's able to attack cookies. I'm doing this all on the spot, by the way. I don't have a script or anything. So she's able to attack a whole pile of cookies all at once, and it's very good. It's not too strong. It's just a reasonably strong attack, and she's able to just head around very fast. So, overall, a good cookie. Unparalleled discipline and practice are what made Skating Cookie Queen what we know today. Other cookies simply pale in comparison when it comes to graceful performances. And I gotta leave now. Take care, everybody. Bye.